Hello everyone, Strategist here, and 2 videos into the new schedule and I've already fallen behind. We're off to a fantastic start. Don't worry though, I will get this out on the right day. Today's video we're going to be covering Lada, that's right, the goddess of beauty and fertility. We go into the events editor and open this up. I have already mostly set aside the Lada layout. I haven't done it to my usual standard. One, because it was becoming quite apparent that this is the exact same orientation we've seen in the past 3 videos. If you've seen the past 3 videos, you know exactly what this would end up looking like. I didn't need to waste another 20-30 minutes getting it to the right order just to make sure that we could line gore, basically. As long as we're able to get our information out, then we can figure out what we're doing on. Lada, like all the other deities going on, requires that you get far enough in her divine quest, and her particulars are now that she will work on an icy biome or she'll work on an ancient forest biome. Match one or the other. If we continue on, we see that we have quite a few options. Retreat does a normal thing where you leave, it gets rid of the event, but it creates a location where you can manually activate the event later. It has an attack option that's not related to you being chosen in any way, shape, or form, and that just lets you attack. It's really what it does. Lada makes some comments about how she now doesn't like you, and if you win, you get 5 to 10 grand gems. That just kind of ends its own little circle right there. You do have 3 options: male chosen, female chosen, and any chosen. We'd like to point out that while any chosen uses the normal bracketing system, which says that you need to have that as prerequisite, of course we can see here by the white line, it does not actually require that, which I find to be funny. Male chosen has you fighting against Rusalka's seductive water ladies. If you choose female chosen, then you have to, or sorry, not fight, seduce seductive water ladies. If you are a female chosen, then you have to seduce vodniks, masters of the lakes and rivers. And if you don't want to go that way, then you can of course choose to seduce befuddlers, the male offspring of Rusalkas, known as failures of their races and are routinely abused by their mothers. So you know, seduce the pretty water lady, seduce the muscular water man, or seduce the failed offspring. Your choice. If you choose to seduce the failed offspring, it is slightly easier, as you're doing a befuddler fight at 1P, 2M, and only 1S. If you decide to seduce someone worth seducing as a follower of Lada, you have a harder challenge, both of which are at 2P, 3M, and 2S. If you, of course, choose to seduce Rusalkas, you're seducing Rusalkas. If you choose to seduce vodniks, you are seducing vodniks. That is the way it comes down. That's what you have to deal with. If you decide not to seduce a befuddler, then you get 1 luck added to your tags. If you choose to seduce a befuddler, then you do not. If you choose to attack in any way, shape, or form, that is a separate node to itself. Now, if we look at what this actually checks for, what is the grand requirements as a follower of Lada? We see the Mist tag requires you to have a intelligence of 15 or higher. The Gobs tag requires you to be a child. The Sham tag requires you to be a healer. And the Attractive tag requires you to be attractive. When we boil that down to what is or is not a good check, what we end up with is Gobs, which was child 2 or more. Now, if you remember the fact from quite a lot of the videos, particularly humans, the more people you have and or the more kids you have, the less likely you are to get kids. As a matter of fact, there's basically a soft cap. You can go over it, but a lot of things become impossible to get a new child if you already have, I want to say, more than 3 kids. I think you are allowed to have 3 kids before you hit the soft cap, which means if you were to go with this tag as a follower of Lada, you have a window of 2 to 3. It is possible to have more than 3 kids, but you're not going to do so easily. So That's a slightly difficult one to pull off. I don't see that one happening a lot. The Shamani tag requires you to have many shams, and shams with healers. It requires 3 or more. And as it checks Gobsies or Shamanis, that basically means if you want an easier time with Lada's quest, you're going to want a collection of healers. It is possible for you to pull it off with kids. I'm not saying it's not. I just don't see this late in the game you being in that window. You're probably doing a push when you've had a lot of adults. Next up, we have Spirits, which is just checking your attractive and requires 3 or more, which is rather possibly hard to pull off. I think it's easier if you were breeding elves into your stock. If we recall from before, elves prefer attractive people for breeding. So it's kind of weird, but if you want an easier time with Lada, particularly with the kids, because the elven thing I think bypasses the soft cap, you may want some elves in your group, just so you can try to possibly increase your attractive rate, though you will get you might get a few creepies, but this doesn't check creepies, so who cares? And then for that, you need three people who are attractive. Other than that, we have Mystics, which was, of course, your intelligence of 15 or higher. You also only need 3 or higher in that. So if you don't want to go the breeding attractive route, if you want to go with the smart people and not the beautiful people, then you just need 3 people with an int of 15 or higher, which is actually really easy to do. And then that gets mixed into magical. So the easiest thing to do is to just have 3 healers, since more often than not, if you have healers, they're gonna have a high int. If you have 3 healers, you're likely to have them with int. Your 3 healers will be able to double dip as your healers and your int tag. You could pull this off with as little as 3 people. You could pull off succeeding as a follower of Lada with as few as 3 people. The rest of these tags is just magical, which checked for the attractive or int, green skins, which checked for Gobsi or Shamani, and whether or not you're actually supposed to be here, basically. Moving on, we see that if you have the right tag, you get all the way to the end, you get her divine tag, and you get 4 luck. Huzzah. And then as you dip out, you get 1 rare 2-handed scroll. If you do not have 3 intelligent healers, essentially, you do get to choose her 2 domain tags, which one you want. And of course, Lada is both the goddess that encompasses the intellect domain and the harmony domain. Harmony is also good for healers. So it's really easy to pass hers if you want. If you don't, dumb your people down. Just get some dumb Uggo people, and you can get a domain tag to let you get intelligent people. And yeah, that's really kind of it. I'm going to try to keep this mostly short. Again, I was able to save quite a lot of back-end time. I don't think I need to really sort out these as much as I was doing, at least for the divine quests, because with the other videos we've seen the layout it's gonna do. They all have the same layout. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to 3 crucial points. I was delayed today by a fair amount, but I would like to thank today's topic to General Skaven. I told you I'd get it to you in a few hours. That being addressed, if you guys would be so kind as to give the video a thumbs up if you found it educational, give the channel a subscribe if you found it entertaining, and like General Skaven, if you really want to help me have a forward momentum to, a drive, a place to be looking at, please comment down below what you would want me to cover. It gives me a fire to get things out at a faster clip. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.